Hey, how are you guys? Welcome back to Distant Learning with Miss Durkin. I curled my hair this morning, but Florida weather sucks, so hair didn't stay curled, but we're fine. It's fine. All right, guys, so today what you're going to do is it's going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past. You're actually going to follow step by step with me as I go through our lesson today, okay? So it's basically going to be like actual distant learning, I guess. So I'm going to talk to you guys as if you're in person and you guys are walking through this lesson with me, okay? What I need you guys to do is to get some pens or pencils out. I need you to have some lined piece of paper out. I have a pineapple notebook, of course, because I don't actually have notebook paper at my house. Didn't grab that. But anyways, you're also going to want to get your textbook out and have it open to page 386 because we'll be reading from that in just a second, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys really quick and we will get started, okay? Before we get started though, I do want to let you guys know that I miss you guys so much. And I was just thinking like, man, if I miss them this much, I wonder how much like they miss me. And I'm like, they probably don't think about me. It's fine. But here's the thing. Does your desk or like your mind look like this or feel like this? I feel like mine definitely has in the past couple of weeks. Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks that I do to help me keep organized and stay organized at home. Just really quick for you guys, okay? One, make a daily and a weekly schedule. So whenever assignments come in, go ahead and put those in your agenda ASAP, like ASAP. Honestly, can't even find my it's fine. I'm not dying. I'm just like dying. Actually, we're talking about death today, but you guys, it's weird talking to a computer. I'm not gonna lie. Wish I was talking to you guys, but I can't find my agenda. I'm pretty sure it's over on my dining room table because I've kind of taken over like downstairs. I've just like spread out. But whenever you get this assignment from your teachers, make a to-do list. So a weekly and a daily to-do list. You guys are juniors and seniors, so hopefully using a planner has been something a little bit easier than it would be for like the freshmen or the sophomores because they're not quite used to it yet. Or maybe as a junior and senior, you're like, what is that? Even just a sheet of paper is going to help you guys really enhance you understanding, like getting your thoughts organized. That's super important for me to have my thoughts organized. That's why I always tell you guys, you may have remembered me telling you, put a sticky note on my actual computer so that I actually see it and it just doesn't get out of like, so I don't lose it. Anyways, create a space for school. Maybe you guys don't have a little cozy nook or a cozy corner at home. I remember high school, I didn't have that. Like our dinner table was something that I had to, unpack on and then repack up every single night. And so I get that. Maybe you don't even have a dinner table at home. Maybe you're just like sleeping on the couch at a friend's house and you're just trying to make it work. I don't know. But what I can do is give you a couple tips. Maybe you just have your bed at home. I would say make your bed and then do your schoolwork on it while it's made for a couple of hours. Then once you're done, unmake it and get comfy again. But making your bed, that simple thing, or even like if you're on a couch, like throw a blanket over the couch, like don't get comfy, super comfy, and just do your schoolwork from there. So create space for school. That's really important. Take a walk around your neighborhood. Whenever you guys run, it's going to raise your cortisol levels. Whenever you're not outside, it raises your cortisol levels. What is cortisol? It is a stress hormone, and that creates stress and anxiety, and you don't want that, especially right now. You want to be cool, calm, collected, and whenever you walk, that actually raises your dopamine levels, and those dopamine levels are going to help you feel a lot better. Just even getting out in the sunshine. I know it wasn't sunny this morning, but later this afternoon, get outside. It is going to help you clear your head and just feel a whole lot better. Okay, if you've skipped part of the video by now, welcome back. Because there are a couple of things. You guys are not alone in whatever you're going through. I miss all of you guys so, so much. And for me right now, life is like a solid okay. I think the best thing that's happened so far is I was in the line for coffee, and actually the sheriff in front of me paid for my coffee, and I was just so blown away. I was so thankful, because they were just saying, like, pay it forward, and I was like, wow, thank you. I also talked to one of you guys today on the phone. That was really encouraging. Me as a teacher, I love seeing you guys in the hallways and running around yelling, doing your hallway high school thing. I feel like my classroom was just like make out, like point, like everybody was just making out in the hallway. Anyway, ranting. Stress, anxiety, and depression looks so different for you guys as a teenager than it does for me as a young adult. Actually, as like an adult, I don't know, 27. You'll understand when you get to my age. But it looks different for everybody, for kids, for your younger siblings, for your older siblings, for your parents, for our grandparents. Anxiety and depression look different. So these resources that I've linked, if you want the links, let me know and I can send them to you, or I can just make them available. But these really can help identify if you're having just like sad versus like depression. Okay. Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't realize that I had like mild depression. And then once I realized it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then I could feel a lot better. Anxiety, knew it was there. I was constantly on edge. It was the worst. But there is a really cool resource that you guys can see. So do you guys see that? Text teen 839863 from 6 to 9 p.m. Excuse me, you guys can go and text this number, and another teen will be texting you back. Okay, so it's a really great resource. Man, I know this coffee, but I think it's a really cool opportunity for you guys to connect with other teens who can help you and understand what's going on. Because a lot of times being as an adult and other adults, like, we can only help you so far and empathize so far, but really talking to somebody who's going through it with you or something similar is really encouraging. Maybe you're on the other side and you're like, I'm totally good, Mr. Durkin. I don't deal with any of this. That's awesome. That's amazing. Maybe you want to help somebody else, and you can go to volunteer for teenlineonline.org. You can sign up to be a volunteer. So you can be on the other end of that texting service, and you can be texting other teens, letting them know like it's okay and things like that. I'm not sure the whole process, but I do know whenever I called in last night, like, the girl on the other side was so friendly and so helpful. So even if you're like, man, like, I just don't know who to talk to, I'll post a couple of numbers and stuff on Student Portal so you guys can actually have it. I'll actually also tag all of this stuff down in the comments below, okay? So let's get into this forensic science thing. Miss you guys. If you need anything, you can always let me know what you need. You guys have my phone number, so let me know. All right. Chapter 12, class link, forensic science textbook, all of the above. Remember, this is how you get to class link. And let's go to this page, okay? So the intro to death, manner, mechanism, and cause, all right? The mysterious deaths at the fair. I'm going to go ahead and go off here and go straight into this. So this is on class link. I typed in page 387 on the book, and here we go. All right, the Washington County Fairgrounds actually, before we get started, go ahead and take your paper and label it at the top, Death, Chapter 12, all right? We're just going to go through it like notes, all right? Not really sure how far I am into the video, but hopefully my laptop doesn't die. Actually, let me just charge it right now. Here we go. All right. Awesome. All right, so the Washington, also, I looked up how to say this word. I'm going to try not to butcher it. Here we go. Washington County Fairgrounds in upstate New York was the site of the 1999 annual county fair. After a rainstorm, well water, the source of drinking water for the event, became contaminated by manure runoff from a nearby cattle farm. The cattle manure carried a variant of Escherichia coli bacteria, E. coli bacteria. E. coli is a natural and necessary inhabitant of our digestive systems, but One strain carried by cattle produces a powerful toxin. The cattle that carry this strain of E. coli are unharmed, but humans can become very sick and die from the infection. Two of the 127 confirmed cases of E. coli poisoning from the fair died from infection. The two deaths that occurred include one of the oldest victims, a 79-year-old man, one of the youngest, a 3-year-old girl. The manner of death, accidental. Cause of death, food poisoning / water contamination. Mechanism of death, kidney failure. Escherichia coli is a leading cause for foodborne illnesses. Scientists estimate that there are 265,000 cases of infection and 100 deaths in the United States each year. In addition to eating undercooked meat, people can become infected in many other ways. People have become ill from eating contaminated bean sprouts from fresh, leafy vegetables or through person-to-person contact in families and child care centers. Infection also can result from drinking raw milk or swimming in or drinking sewage-contaminated water. Gross. Well, let's go back to our our notes. All right, so this is what we got. What I want you guys to do is go ahead and write down this in your notes. So underneath death, I want you to write mysterious deaths at the fair, and then also write manner of death, accidental, cause of death, food poisoning, water contamination, mechanism of death, kidney failure. If you guys feel like you need to pause the video, please feel free to pause, go back, rewind, remind me, Ms. Durkin, I don't get it. Like whatever you need, I'm here for you, okay? So what I want you guys to do is to answer a couple of questions for me, okay? The first one, as you guys are answering questions today also, oh my goodness, my nose. I expect that you guys have full and complete thoughts, okay? So what are your thoughts on these 4 questions, okay? Underneath those definitions, you guys can write 1, 2, 3, 4 as you go along and answer them. You can be typing this on a Word document and send it to me, or you can just write it down on a sheet of paper. Either way, I'm A-okay with. All right, so how would you define the manner of death, cause of death, and mechanism of death? So I've already given you what they are. How are you going to define them? So what are your definitions of manner of death, cause of death, mechanism of death? So what other descriptions or adjectives could be used for manner of death, cause of death, or mechanism of death? So what other things could we say about them? Okay, how would you classify them? What environmental factors contributed to the E. coli infections? And what precautions could have been taken to prevent E. coli infections? Today's lesson, I'm actually not going to give you the guys the answers, okay? I want you to really think about it. Think about death. We haven't done a ton of critical thinking in the past couple of weeks, so try to really get into a state of mind that like you can think about it. So they might be difficult at first, but just keep going, keep replaying it, okay? It's the first time that we've ever talked about it, and it's okay to have like a productive struggle, okay? All right, warning, graphic content. Not necessarily dead people on the screen, but maybe at this point you're realizing, I don't really want to talk about death because death is really like sensitive for me right now. Please pause the video at any point that you feel like it is too overwhelming to talk about this, because I understand. In high school, I had a close family member of mine die, and it was really hard to talk about. And so right now, if maybe you're going through that, pause the video, shoot me an email, send me a photo of what you've got so far, and we'll talk about something, okay? So at any point in the video, feel free to pause, okay? So this is kind of a graphic image next, but I think it's a little mild or tame anyways. All right, guys, so here's the actual, if you haven't already, you need to pause the video and you should go back and answer those questions, okay? But death manner, cause, and mechanism. All right, so the manner of death is one of 5 ways that a person's death is classified, okay? So on a death certificate, what are we going to see? All right, that's going to be the manner of death. I want you guys to write these definitions down if you need to refer back to them. Cause, the injury or condition responsible for a person's death. I think that's how you spell responsible. Couldn't tell you. Mechanism is the specific physiological, physical or chemical event that stops life. Okay? So that manner, cause, and mechanism, it kind of seems like they all blend together, but I'm going to hopefully untangle them and piece them out for you in these next couple of minutes, okay? All right, so manner of death, we're going to go in order, the 3 chunks of our notes. So you can make like a chunk for manner of death, the next one for cause, the next one for mechanisms. 5 categories of manner of death can appear on a death certificate. So natural, accidental, suicidal, homicidal, or undetermined. All these things can appear on a death certificate, okay? Let's look at a couple of examples. So I'm actually going to have you guys determine what the death could be for these different examples, okay? So consider the following 2 examples. How would you categorize the manner of death? So would you consider it in one of those 5 categories? In which category would you consider it? Okay. You can put manner of death and put 2 bullet points and then write your answers so that I can see what you guys have written, because this is how I'm going to be grading you this week. Okay. So a man with a heart condition is assaulted and dies from a heart attack during the assault. Is the manner of death natural or homicidal? An elderly woman dies due to neglect by her son who lived with her. Is the manner of death natural or homicidal? So what would go on the death certificate of this woman and this man? Go ahead and write that down. And like I said, I'm not going to give you guys the answers, but I want you to really think about it. Look back at what is the manner of death, that definition. Look back at the 5 categories that we have and go back and forth. See what's the difference between those. If you still have some questions, you can always go in your book into page 388. So 388. That's going to help you do a little bit more reading, okay? What about the cause of death? All right, so the COD, the reason a person dies. So natural causes include disease, cancer, physical injury, stroke, or heart attack. Homicidal and suicidal causes include shootings, burnings, poisonings, hangings, drowning, or suffocation. Okay, so what's the cause of death? There's also something called the proximate cause of death, and that refers to an underlying cause as opposed to the final cause. So let's look at some examples. Someone's exposed to a large amount of radiation, then develops cancer. The proximate cause of death is the exposure to radiation. All right. So the final cause of death would potentially be cancer. Does that make sense? So proximate versus final. All right. If a healthy person is repeatedly kicked in the kidneys during a beating and soon dies after dies of kidney failure, the proximate cause of death is, what is it? All right, go ahead and write down your answer right there under cause of death. So now you can have like a separate thing for cause of death. Write that down. All right, mechanisms of death describe the specific change in the body that brought about the cessation of life. Cessation, the end of life. Okay, so describes a specific change in the body. So let's look at a couple of examples, okay? If a person has been shot, they might die from a loss of blood called extenuation, all right? So bleeding to death, all right? That is their mechanism of death. If someone has a heart attack and dies from pulmonary arrest, well, what in the world does that mean? So pulmonary arrest, that's when, what happens? Medical students, you might know. That's whenever the heart stops beating. So what's the mechanism of death? If someone has a heart attack, they're going to die from this. If someone's strangled, they're going to die from asphyxiation. And that is when, if you're strangled, well, what's going to happen to you? I feel like Dora right now. All right. So write down what you think that those could be. So heart attack or strangled. What's that mechanism of death? What actually physically stops in their body that makes them die. So this person, they were bleeding to death. That's my example for you guys. So somebody has a heart attack or somebody is strangled. What actually is stopping them from living? All right, so my final questions for you guys, you can be found on page 403, number 14. For each of the following situations, state the manner, the cause, and the mechanism of death, okay? So a chronic smoker develops emphysema, lung damage, and dies. So what's their manner, cause, and mechanism? Death. A teenager was found dead after consuming alcohol and heroin together. The third scenario is while being mugged on the street, a person is struck on the head with a pipe and dies after losing a large volume of blood. All of these things, I want you guys to give me the manner, the cause, and the mechanism of death, okay? I will be posting the answers for you guys in about a week from now, so you can actually check your answers and see if you are correct or not. Actually, let me strike that. When you send me your final answers, I will send you the correct answers, okay? So once I see most of you guys have done the work, then that way it'll be easier. But I want you guys to really think about this. That's super interesting. I know for me, whenever my dad passed away, it's interesting to think about, what's the manner, what's the cause, what's the mechanism of death. Interesting things. Next week, we're going to be looking at decomposition and the time of death. So that's going to be one of our we're coming up on the end of our 9 weeks. So let's see, I think that's kind of it, but yep, next week, decomposition and time of death. It's going to be kind of interesting, continuing in chapter 12. And then we'll finish out the year with careers about forensics. So remember, you guys can always contact me through Outlook and Remind. I think that's the end of my presentation. It is, let me go right here. So Outlook and Remind. With that, you guys are going to be emailing me your a photo of your notes from this week. That's all that we're doing this week. So I hope this video isn't too long because I have no idea how long it is. I care about you guys so much. If you need anything, please call me. Reach me on Remind, reach me through Outlook. However you can do that, just let me know what's going on, okay? Thank you guys for being patient this week as I am uploading a little bit later than normal. Everything's going to be due next Thursday, okay? I hope you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you guys soon.